you've made some progress, though. You were making pretty declarative statements just a week ago. No way LeBron James could do this. No way. And now you're like, well, we'll see. So he has made. Last night did score some points for LeBron for you, correct?
For sure, for one game, yes, absolutely. If he can sustain this and play this way, then they have an opportunity to maximize that roster and be, as good as that team possibly could be. Which in many, maybe several other years, Jason, this might have been an NBA championship caliber team, but the Western Conference, I think, is just too stacked and too loaded for this team to really make waves come playoff time.
Paul, here's one thing I think Scap is underestimating. I think LeBron is going to be celebrated if he plays a deferential role and does it for a sustained period. I think you're going to see his sycophants in the media start. Michael Jordan could never do this. He could never subvert his ego. Look at Michael Jordan, even in Last Dance. It was his ego on display. LeBron James, all he cares about is his team and his teammates. And here's the greatest player of all time, the greatest scorer of all time, doing what's best for the team. I think once that song starts playing, LeBron's going to dance to it. Paul?
That's a great point, Jason. I could totally see that being the narrative here. It's a way to rescue him from the wolves, so to say. I could totally see that. I agree a lot with what Jay said. This is one game that we saw him do this. And not only was he third or fourth fiddle, I didn't watch the game last night, but I watched the full clip highlights of every play this morning, 20 minutes worth. And it stuck out to me as an NBA All-Star game in terms of everyone standing around and everyone parting the Red Seas to let everyone do exactly what they want. 66 points last night. As Jay said, 140 to the Jazz. What I saw last night from the Los Angeles Lakers was more alarming than anything that I've seen in basketball for a while. Folks, this is not going to work, Jay and Jason. This is not going to work. Luka cannot play defense. Austin Reeves won't be able to play defense. Ayton is soft. And LeBron floated around last night. I'll give him a little bit of leeway in that it's a long layoff, first game back. You don't expect him to rev it up in game 12 or 13 or whatever it is. But he was literally standing around all night long. No box out, no nothing. And I don't expect that to change too much. I think he's just going to float around. When they play a team like OKC or when they play somebody where it really matters, Houston, OKC, these guys like Steven Adams and Sengun and Lou Dortz and these type of guys, they're going to lock them up. And then teams that can score more than Lauri Markkanen and Keontae George, they're going to struggle and they will get outscored over and over and over. This is a very flawed team that wears yellow jerseys, that's located in Hollywood, that has some star power names on it. But I think it's all going to catch up as we see this play out.
I think Jay and Scap just switched roles here in bodies. That's the kind of attack I expected to hear from you, Scap.
Well, and I was alluding to it. Paul kind of picked up my baton on the defense. Look, the defensive issues with this team.
Hold on, Paul. Let me tell you what Scap just said. I was going to say all that, but what he really means is I didn't have the balls that Paul had, so I held off. And now that Paul has let his drop, I'll drop mine. Go ahead, Scap.
Well, I did, Jason, allude to the defensive issues in my little opening monologue there, which is going to be their undoing. Look, last year, the Denver Nuggets, after they fired Michael Malone with 4 games left in the regular season, they were an atrocious defense. They were the 21st. They ended up being the 21st net rated defense to qualify for the playoffs. That was the worst defense in the NBA to get in. In the postseason under Adelman, after they made the change, the Nuggets actually defended, which is why they got into that 7th game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now they've picked right up where they left off. They were floating around number 2 or number 3 net rated defense all season until last game when they got worked by Chicago. Denver slipped to the 5th net rated defense this year. But that is how you have to attack this current NBA, especially the Western Conference, you have to be elite defensively. Oklahoma City is one of the best net rated defenses this century. In my estimation, they are the best defense this century. I put them above that Boston Celtics, that 2008 Boston Celtics team. I put them maybe even slightly above that Detroit Pistons team from '04. That is how good this team is defensively in Oklahoma City. And you have to somewhat rise to their level of defense if you want to have any shot at beating them. I think Houston can do it. Denver's trying to figure out a way how to do it. The Lakers will never be able to do it with this roster that they have. Luka Doncic is a subpar to below average defender. Austin Reeves is too. And LeBron James, who had elite, flashes of defense in his past, has been an undeniable liability on that end for at least a decade straight now. They're just not going to be able to get it done in the postseason. There's no way.
Scap's back.
Let me Scap is back. Let me throw some fuel on both of you all's fire. And Scap, I can't believe you're leaving it to me to make this point. I'm just one game and you started backpedaling on LeBron James. Now I got to play the bad guy. I want you to look at LeBron's timing here. His sciatica is cured, or he can now play, and they open with Utah. They get 5 days off, and then they play Utah again. Then they play the LA Clippers. Then they play the Dallas Mavericks. Then they play the Pelicans. Then the Suns. Then Toronto. Then Boston. Philly. Utah. Clippers again. Suns. They don't have a test. They're going to probably go on a nice little run here, and we're going to get to Christmas Day before there's a real test when they play Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. The timing of this couldn't be better. And maybe it's not just LeBron that factored into this timing. Maybe LeBron on this run, this 10, 12 game run, can actually build up some trade value. Anyway, your thoughts, I'll let you follow first, Paul, go first, Paul. Just that the timing and the schedule that they're facing could mask some of these problems that you're alluding to.
Another great point, Jason. And
Thank you. That's what I do here, but go ahead, continue.
I could see
people sometimes, Paul, mistake and think that Scap is the star of the show when he comes on. I'm glad you recognize who the true star is here. Go ahead, Paul.
Got you. I could see them trying to elevate his trade value in that regard. He made an interesting comment the other day where he says, I'm positionless. It goes back to my high school days. My coach always said that. And he said, I could play for any team in the world at any position. And I felt like that was a message. I really did, because why would you say that? If you've been out for as long as you've been out and you're supportive of your team, why would you make such a comment? Because you're LeBron James and you say a lot of dumb things? If you were all in with the Lakers and going for your fifth ring, and who knows what would happen after that. I know the Lakers have said they don't want him, or basically have alluded to that they don't want him past this year. But it's almost as if he left the door open for that. And they may have had discussions in the back. Hey, let's see how this works. Let's see how it flows. If it enters into a part where it just doesn't seem like it's working for both sides, hey, we'll do the best we can for you to get you where you think you would like to go, and then we'll look to make our situation, workable for what we have for the full team. So I could totally see that, and it does almost see like this was crafted in such a way where it could create options.
Yeah, they're playing in the Wild Wild West, and now they're getting they picked a stretch of games where they don't face anybody in the Wild Wild West. They picked a particular stretch of games that will make it very easy for LeBron to look pretty good. Scap?
Yeah, I mean, great point. Their schedule is absolutely cakewalk city for the next pretty much month. So yeah, they're going to run their record up. But Jason, even with running that record up, they're probably not going to get much above where they're at right now, which is the 4 seed. I mean, there are 3 historical level teams right now in the Western Conference with Oklahoma City, Houston, and Denver. I mean, what if I were to tell you, Jason, that Nikola Jokic, who is probably a top 10 talent all time, is in his peak, which might possibly be a top 2 peak ever, where the separation between he and the next best player is wider than any time in NBA history outside of Michael Jordan's 90s reign. Now, imagine that guy's team is only probably the third best team in his own conference. That's where we're at right now with the Western Conference, and those teams are all going to win. Houston, Denver, and Oklahoma City, like 63 to 64 plus games this year. So LA's probably going to ultimately be the 4 seed, but who's going to be the 5? My guess would be the Minnesota Timberwolves, who played them in the first round last year and gentlemen swept them. So, like, that's not necessarily an easy first round matchup for the LA Lakers. So they're going to look good in the next month. They probably are going to look good all year. They're going to win probably 50, 52 games, be the 4. They're going to have 3 All-Stars because Jason, you know that LeBron James is going to get an all-star bid. The fans are going to vote him up. He'll lead the fan voting more than likely. At least he'll be top 3. He'll get in. Austin Reeves going to be an all-star this year. Luka Doncic obviously is going to be an all-star. So I'm actually giddy by this prospect, Jason, because there are no excuses here. So when the Lakers likely lose in the first round, or at best in the second round, it's just going to be one more actually critique, one more blemish on LeBron's old resume points here.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.